guys, welcome back to my channel and another video here. Today we're doing something that's kind of a little bit different than my normal content, if you can really pin down my normal content. I feel like my normal content is just anything tangentially related to nail polish, so here we have another nail polish related video. First and foremost, I want to shout out Carrie on Instagram because without her, I wouldn't have even had this idea at all. She gave me the idea. She gave me a lot of the polishes for this video. So huge thank you to Carrie for the wonderful gift and the great content idea. So thank you. So today we're going to be talking about nail polish subscription boxes with a focus on the kind of ones of the past that are now defunct and just kind of talk about what happened to them, why they went under, and kind of where are we now in the world of nail polish subscription boxes. And this is by no means like a comprehensive list or anything like that. This is just kind of the way that I perceive it, the way that I saw it unfold. I did use a lot of external sources for this video because I wasn't around for all of it, and all of my sources are going to be linked down in the description box so you guys can check them out as well. And if you have any experience with the polish boxes that I'm talking about, let us know down in the comments. I would love to hear your side of the story, or like if you had any positive or negative experiences with these boxes as well. So when I first started getting into nail polish, I think I've said this before, but I was in college, and as we all know, being in college is not the most profitable endeavor. So I really couldn't afford to participate in as many of the trends or subscription boxes or anything like that at the time. And so I really lived vicariously through a lot of the YouTubers that I watched. I used to love watching people buy, full collections and do reviews, buy indie polishes and do reviews, and unbox the subscription boxes and do reviews because I was like, I'm never going to be able to do this. I'm never going to be able to afford this. So at least I can watch these people do it and just kind of participate in the excitement of it all. And I mean, look at me now, I'm doing all those things. So I guess you just got to be patient. But at the time, I could not afford this. And this was back around like early 2010s. I think it was like 2014, 2015, 2016, that time range. And literally everybody had a subscription box. I remember there was Loot Crate, there's Stitch Fix, Sephora Play, we had Ipsy, just like tons of makeup, tons of nerdy stuff, just anything you could think of, you could probably get in a subscription box. I mean, nowadays, you have something called BarkBox where you can just get dog toys every month delivered to your doorstep. The subscription box model is very popular. So like I said, I have 3 now defunct nail polish subscription boxes to talk to you about today. We're going to go through, what they were, what they offered, why they went under. We have some that have a little bit of drama. We'll start with those because that's always the most fun. And then we'll kind of talk about what is different today, and are the ones today in the same dangers? I don't really know. So we're going to talk about that. And just right off the bat, I want to say these 3 boxes that I'm talking about, they're from a little bit ago. They're from a while ago. It's been quite a while since most of these have been active. And like I said, I didn't participate in most of them. Actually, I did participate in one for like a month, and then I canceled because it was very expensive for me at the time. But a lot of this stuff is either referencing from my own brain because I remember some of it, and then some of it is just I'm using external references, YouTube videos, blog posts, etc. And so I will have all of those references linked down below in the description box. Please let me know if I did get any of my facts wrong because I tried to fact check as best as I could, but it was really hard to find a lot of information on a few of these boxes and the scenarios that they went under in. So let me know if you know something I don't. I would love to, pin your comment and share it with everybody else. So the first box I want to start with is actually one that I had never heard of. I've heard of the other 2, but this one I had never seen before, and it is probably the most controversial of the 3, and that is Bondi New York, or Bondi NY, I'm not really sure. But this was a box that was really hard to find much information about. It seems like their website no longer exists. Their Facebook, their Instagram, their Twitter, everything was wiped. So from what I could find, this box started way back 9 years ago, right? Yeah, 9 years ago, I had to do the math, in 2013. Now, according to the exactly one YouTube review I could find on this box, they were $19.99 a month, and they said that they shipped 3 polishes to you in a month. The polishes that I got, there are 4, and they seem to be in the same theme. Their names are NYPD, Lady Liberty, Central Park Blossom, and Strawberry Fields. Actually, maybe Strawberry Fields is not part of this. I don't know. I thought that Strawberry Fields had something to do with New York, but now I'm like, why did you think that? But, so I'm assuming this was probably like the bundle, and then maybe this was just like a random other bundle. But they shipped 3 polishes to you a month according to that review, as well as 1 deluxe sized beauty sample as well. The description of that video even said that you could choose the 3 polishes, like maybe there was like a portal that you could go on and pick the 3 from a small selection every single month. I'm not sure. Like I said, it was hard to find a lot of information on this particular brand. From the little information I found on Bondi New York, one of their major selling points was that they are 5 free. Now, I think that was, I just started laughing when I found that out, because I remember when 5 free was like the thing to be, because they're like, no, we're not 3 free. We're 5 free, okay? And it's just like now everything is like 12 free and 40 free and 5,000 free. So it's like, to me, these like whatever free polishes, it's kind of like lost its meaning to me in marketing. And I know that some people are very particular about certain levels of free because people are allergic to certain chemicals. I know some people are not reacting well to toluene specifically, so they look for like toluene free nail polish. Me, I'm like, whatever, I don't care. Let the chemicals seep into my body. I just don't care. But I understand why it's important. I just thought it was kind of funny that 5 free used to be like the major selling point, and now that's kind of like the lowest baseline. Another selling point that they had was that they were going to take some of the profits from their polishes and donate them to a nonprofit charity organization that was supposed to fund charities within the United States. So that's a quick overview of the brand. Let's get into the controversy. So the first thing that tipped me off that maybe something wasn't quite right with this brand was when I Googled them, and one of the first blogs that I pulled up had right at the top of their review, let me read the quote to you. It said, "Bondi is no longer available. While I had no issues with payment and such, several lost their money to the company." And that prompted me to dig a little bit deeper. Like I said, information was hard to come by, but there were a couple blog posts kind of breaking down what was going on with the breakdown of the company as it was happening. Here's what I found out. Allegedly, big ol' allegedly, the nonprofit organization that they claimed that they were going to start that would funnel money into US charities was not licensed or on any sort of record when they opened, which is kind of a huge red flag for me at least. And another thing, it seems like the owner of Bondi, it was a guy who, he had kind of a strange promotion, I guess you could call it, where he was kind of viewing Julep, another subscription box at the time, which we will talk about, as maybe a rival, I guess you could say. And in that promo, he, in a very disparaging way, kind of came for Julep. So what he did was he made it so that if you entered a certain promo code, you would get your first Bondi box for $1. And that code was "don't want Julep." And I mean, like, honestly, it's pretty tame as far as, I guess, bullying goes. I don't know what you would call it, corporate bullying. And you know, it's fine to have like a $1 first box promo. Like a lot of companies will do first box free, just pay shipping and stuff like that. I think those are great ways to hook a customer into something for a very cheap buy-in. And then the customer will realize they really like the products and they will continue your service. I think that's a pretty good payoff considering the markup on cosmetics. You're probably not even losing money, to be quite honest. But in my opinion, as a consumer, I don't love when a company feels or does actively disparage another company just to get some engagement to their own brand. Like, to me, I think that a company and their products should kind of speak for themselves. You shouldn't have to not to sound all like woo, but you shouldn't have to tear down something else in order to make your stuff look better. If your stuff doesn't look good all on its own, then maybe it's not good all on its own. I'm just saying. And maybe when I was younger, I probably would have thought that was funny, but as I've gotten older, I'm just like, why are we doing this? This is so annoying. Like, either sell me a good product or don't, but like, let's not drag anybody else into this. You know what I mean? Another big issue that they had was it sounds like the boxes were not shipping in a timely manner. People were not getting their products when they were promised to them. Or sometimes they wouldn't even get their products at all, and then they would be charged, and then they would be charged for the next box, and they hadn't gotten anything from the previous box. So it's like, today is March. It's March right now. And say that I paid for my February box. I never got my February box. It's March, and on March 1st, they charged me again for my March box, and I'm like, I haven't even gotten the last thing I paid for. Don't charge me for the next one, you know? And then I was browsing a couple forums. I'm pretty sure for this one, I was looking at some forums, and it seemed like a lot of people ended up having to fight with the company for refunds because they never got the products. They were arguing with the company to get a refund. A lot of them didn't even get refunds, so they had to do chargebacks to their cards, which is just a huge hassle. And, you know, I hate doing chargeback. I've only ever done a chargeback one time, and I spent like an hour on the phone with my credit card company because I had to answer all of these questions, you know, to prove that it wasn't a false chargeback. And so it just wasted a lot of time out of my day. Nobody wants to have to do a chargeback. All we want is the product we paid for. I will say that not everybody had a bad experience with this company. I mean, obviously somebody got the polishes, right? Like, there were people who got the products they paid for. But I did see the word scam thrown around quite a lot, especially with people who were complaining they never got the products, or the products were taking like double shipping time, things like that. So I feel like I'm pretty happy that I did not know about this brand when I was in college, because I feel like this is one that I could have easily been kind of scammed out of my money, and it would have been a huge loss for me then. Okay, if there was like a massive quality change in the camera, that's because my phone camera, my old phone camera, I could see it just glitching, and I don't know why. So if some of the footage up to this point has glitches in it, I don't know, I didn't know that even happened. So filming on my actual phone camera, we'll see how this goes. And I haven't even had a time to mess with the light settings, so I'm sure it looks completely different. Anyways, the next box that we have to talk about is Square Hue. Now, this is a box that I actually had heard of, and it was one that I wanted to subscribe to, but I could not afford it at the time. And then by the time I finally could afford it, they went out of business. So I really dropped the ball on that one. So I first heard of Square Hue through a YouTuber called Bondi Juanita, who up until like 2 weeks ago had not posted for 3 years. She was a huge nail polish YouTuber. She had tons of nail polish. I always loved her backdrop because she just had shelves and shelves of it. And she pretty avidly reviewed Square Hue, which is how I found out about it. I think the biggest appeal to me of these polishes at the time was the bottle. And there's something about this bottle. It reminds me of a paint swatch. Like, you have this little, you know, branding logo, and it's blocking out everything but the color. I don't know why that makes me think of like an artsy paint swatch, but it does. And I like that they were like perfectly square bottles, so they fit together pretty perfectly in the drawers, whatever, on your shelf. They looked really pretty when they were on display. And now, at that time, this was an unusual bottle. I had never seen a bottle like this because I was fresh into the nail polish world, and all I was buying was like Sally Hansen Insta-Dries and Essie's when they were on a deal. So I hadn't seen anything that looked unusual like this, and so I was really, really drawn to these. So according to Square Hue's website, which is still up for some reason, every month they would release a curated trio. And for example, I have 2 of the April 2013 trio. We have Yellow Submarine and Groovy Love. So it seems like it was kind of like a 60s or 70s type of vibe here. And they were spring colors. And then for the March of 2013, we have 3 shades. We have Amber Hue, we have Blonde Ale, and Patty's Pint, which obviously this is a like beer St. Patrick's Day type theme. So they keep on theme pretty well. It's pretty easy to do when you only have 3 polishes to name. But yeah, it was a monthly box of 3 polishes, but from what I found, you could either get 2 polishes or 3 polishes. These were 15 milliliter bottles, and if you wanted to do the 2 polish option, it was $16, and for all 3, it was $21. And you know, every month was a specific theme that they centered those 3 polishes around. Now this is another box that they donated to charity, and the charity of their choice was one involving like combating human trafficking. I didn't find anybody saying anything kind of out of sorts with that. Seems like that was all legit. Everything went the way it was supposed to, as far as I could tell. And then suddenly, kind of seemingly out of nowhere in December of 2017, everyone who was subscribed to Square Hue got an email. The email said that the December boxes would ship as normal, and then the subscription would cease to exist. And so it was just kind of like, boom, this is it, you guys, that's all you get, you're done. They said that you could still buy the nail polishes individually on the website, even though the subscription was going to end. But literally in March of the following year was when their final Facebook and Instagram posts were. So it seems like the brand was very short-lived after the subscription service shut down. I haven't seen anything about really why it shut down or anything like that. So if you guys have any insight, let me know. It just seemed like it really came out of nowhere, and a lot of customers were really blindsided by it. And even I was, you know, I was only kind of half into it. I was watching people's videos here and there, and then all of a sudden they were like, well, this is the last one. And I was like, what? And I tried to look it up, and I didn't really find any information on that. You know, when I was using the polishes, I had no issues with them. They're nice. Like I said, the bottle is this big square bottle, so it's really stable, easy to use. Got a fairly standard skinny brush, you know, nothing to write home about, but there's nothing inherently wrong with these polishes. So what I think happened was they were living on an unsustainable business model. I think that probably a great deal of their profits came from the subscription box itself, and they didn't have a lot of people buying one-offs and, you know, individual purchases. They were just probably buying the the subscription box. And probably their hope was that when they canceled the subscription service, they probably thought that they would convert a lot of those subscription customers to regular repeat customers who bought individual polishes. And I just think that wasn't what happened. I think that people were like, oh, subscription box is gone, I'm done. And the few people who did stay and buy the individual polishes weren't buying the polishes at the same rate that they were guaranteeing income from the subscription box. Because with that subscription, there's that guaranteed income of, what did I say, $21 a month from, you know, however many people. Say 100 people are paying $21 a month. You've guaranteed, you can see that that income is going to come. But when it comes to individual purchases, people are typically more sporadic. They don't buy like clockwork something like nail polish from the same brand over and over and over again. At least most people don't. And so I think that that was really just what happened. So that leads us into the final defunct subscription box that I want to talk to you about today. And this is the only one that I ended up subscribing to, however, very briefly, and that is the Julep Maven box. Now, 3 guesses onto why I was attracted to this brand. And you know what? I'm just going to tell you, it was the bottle. Of course it was the bottle. Look at this weird bottle. I had to have it. I remember I was browsing, I think Pinterest or something, for like the 40 seconds that I used Pinterest. The interface was so overwhelming. I hated it. But I kept getting this ad for a gift with purchase if you subscribed to the Julep Maven box. And the gift with purchase was a pack of, I think, 12 of these, and it's their full size, 12 full-size bottles of nail polish, and then I think that the subscription box that you got had 2 more. So I ended up getting like 14 Julep bottles all at once. Now, I subscribed, I got the gift with purchase, I got the first box, and then I did some digging, and I realized it was so not worth the price, and so I canceled pretty immediately, but I still have most of the polishes. I think I've used up 2 of the Juleps in full, and the third one was the one that I dropped on the ground, on my carpeted ground, and it shattered open and got everywhere, and so that was fun. So I still have most of them, at least. The ones I do have swatched, This is a brand that names, again, all their polishes after, I think, mostly just women's names. Didn't have a Hillary, I can guarantee you that. We have Julep's Jenna. I have Saya. I have Sigourney, which is like this, they call it the Stardust finish. It's literally just hollow glitter. We have Beatrice, this gold. And then Randy with an eye, this pink. Girl, okay. So I didn't even remember because it had been so long since I got this. I had to look up what was the subscription model. And what I found was you paid $24.99, and I think you got either 2 or 3 full-size products from their website. Now, Julep is not only was not only a nail polish brand, but they also had some cosmetics as well. And I think you could choose across both categories, nail polish and cosmetics. Naturally, of course, I picked the nail polish because I didn't start wearing makeup until I was like 22 or 23. And even when I first started wearing makeup, I was more into nail polish. And that is still true today. If I had to choose between nail polish and makeup, I would choose nail polish 100% of the time. Now, I'm sure you guys are thinking like, Hillary, you said this was too expensive for what you got, but you get 3 full-size nail polishes for $25. That's not a bad deal. Well, guess what? It's a terrible deal because a Julep full-size nail polish is 8 milliliters. That's it. This is just like a little bit bigger than a mini-sized nail polish. Keep in mind, like a standard, probably like more mainstream size is, I think 15 milliliters is typical of a bottle size. And that equates to about ½ an ounce. So you're getting like just a little over 1/4 of an ounce. Yeah, 0.27 fluid ounces of nail polish. And you're getting 3 of those. So you're only getting the equivalent of 1.5 full-size nail polishes for $25. Kind of insane, right? That's indie prices. I had no issues with the quality of the polish at all. These polishes are fine. They hold up even today. I still use them. However, the ratio of price to quantity just didn't sit well with me when I was in college, and it still doesn't sit right with me now. I probably would never pay that amount for a polish this small. The other thing, I've talked about this in other videos where I've mentioned Julep. I loved the bottles at first until I started to use them. And then I was like, holy crap, like why is this a thing? Because they're cute. They're cute. They're like, I don't know why, they reminded me of like cigarettes or something. I just like, oh, like a cute little cigarette shaped bottle. I don't know if that's cute to other people, but it was cute to me. And then you realize there's no center of gravity on this thing. And so the second you like sit there and try to brush your brush off, you're knocking it over and you're knocking it over and over again. And so what I would have to do, and this is probably why it reminded me of a cigarette, was I had to like lay my hand flat and set the bottle in like this and then paint my nails like that. And I hate doing that because I don't like the feeling of things between my fingers. And so it's just like, I hated having to paint my nails like this. And so, I don't know, it just didn't work for me very well. Also, they're really weird to store because in my Helmers, you know, I place polishes like one next to the other, but then when you get a Julep, it's like not the right width to place next to each other, so it just kind of offsets everything in the drawer. So I have to stack them like 2 in a row versus 1 of a regular nail polish in a row in order to make up the space, and it makes everything weird. I don't know. So I don't recall any controversy happening when I was looking at these boxes, when I was subscribed for that like 2 seconds. And even afterwards, I really didn't remember much about this brand other than the bottles were weird and I have some of them. I did a little bit of research, and the most that I could find as far as controversy goes is some people, even after they canceled their subscription box, they would get charged for the next month or something like that. And they also had a fairly low score on the Better Business Bureau, which is basically like Yelp for people who hate businesses, I guess. I don't really know. I've never really cared about the Better Business Bureau, but obviously some people really ranked it quite low. Julep was founded by Jane Park back in 2007, and she sold the company in, I think, 2016. And then it was in 2018 when they filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So at that point, Jane Park had nothing to do with the brand. Shortly after they filed Chapter 11, they very abruptly, this is another one, just out of nowhere, canceled the subscription box service. And a big thing that really frustrated people about this was not only did they cancel the subscription box service, but they also had like a rewards point system on the website, and they discontinued that as well. And it sounds like they didn't give anybody warning to use up the rest of their points. They were just like, sorry, they're gone. A lot of people were pretty rightfully upset by this. And I think that kind of gave a really bad impression of the brand to people. And it seems like Julep is still around in some small capacity, but they never really recovered from the bankruptcy filing and all that. When you go on the website, there are a couple, like, and when I say a couple, I mean like 2 or 3, legitimately just 2 or 3 makeup products on there. I think you can click on and check out the nail section, but there's nothing listed. So it just seems like the website isn't even being maintained. I wouldn't even risk an order from them because I just feel like I don't see them around anymore. When I worked at Ulta, I remember suddenly all of it going on sale. Everything from Julep just went super discounted, pretty much liquidated it. I don't think any of it's on the website either anymore. So it just seems like they're not doing anything anymore. So those are the 3 defunct nail polish subscription boxes that I know about, that I'm aware of. Let me know down below, were there any more from the past that just aren't around anymore? I'd love to kind of check them out and see how they compare to these. But now let's talk just a little bit, super briefly, about modern day subscription boxes. When I think of nail polish subscription boxes today, the first thing that comes to my mind is obviously Orly Color Pass. I do subscribe to them. And also the Maniology Mani by Me box, which I subscribed to in the past. I'm on a hold right now just because I have so much stamping stuff and I just don't know, it hasn't intrigued me lately. But those are the 2 main ones I think of. I also am aware of a couple of indie boxes. There's, I think it's called Polished Up Gamers, and then Fandom Flakies. But those have kind of a model where I think you can subscribe to them and they just charge monthly, or you can wait and just buy it when it comes out each month. So that's kind of nice. So let's talk about the major differences that I see between the Orly and the Maniology ones that seem to be doing well, seem to be flourishing, seem to have a lot of subscribers each month, versus these 3 over here that kind of just went the way of the dinosaur and you never even really hear about them anymore. I have some theories about why, you know, things like Orly and Maniology are staying strong. And the biggest one is just monthly subscription boxes can be so exhausting after a while. At first they're fun, there's a big novelty to it, but then after a while it just feels like, oh my gosh, more and more and more stuff is coming in. And especially in recent years, I feel like a lot of people have tried to kind of narrow down and cultivate a lifestyle and products in their house that they want, and not a bunch of useless junk. And I think that that's kind of what it boils down to, is a lot of subscription boxes, they send you a lot of useless junk. The reason why I think Orly and Maniology are kind of better suited for this is Orly is quarterly. You know, you only get 4 boxes a year. You have a few months to play around with each box before the next one comes. And so it makes it a little bit easier to appreciate and take the time with each of those products. Maniology is nice because I think it's like you can buy month to month, you can buy 3 months at a time, 6 months at a time, and I think a whole year at a time. So you can kind of customize how you want it. And even still, if you have like a longer subscription model, you can, if you see the spoilers and you don't like what's going to come, you can skip your box. And, you know, it doesn't count against you. It just puts you on a hold until the next one. So that can kind of save you from burnout as well. You know, when I was doing the Maniology Mani by Me, I did the 3 months because I wanted to see if I was going to like it for an extended period of time. I did those 3 months, and then like the next 3 boxes were boxes I just didn't care for. And so I just haven't resubscribed, and it's very freeing in that way. I think one of the big reasons why subscription boxes don't feel viable long-term is because a lot of people are feeling like they want to be a lot more deliberate with their money. I think some of this comes naturally to some people. Some of it comes with age as you get older and you mature. And some of it is just like recently, in the past couple of years with the pandemic and the global situation going as it is, people are wanting to and having to be more deliberate with their money because people are losing their jobs, they're taking pay cuts, they're losing hours. And so a lot of people kind of had to overhaul their finances. And now that some people are getting back on their feet, not everyone, but as some people get back on their feet, they start to realize, I lived this long without these products. I really don't need these products. And so they're not spending as frivolously. And so when your entire business model is people are going to pay us this fixed amount every single month, and that's our main source of income, and you lose that either due to bad reputation or fluctuations in the market or whatever, your whole company goes under. But when you look at Orly and Maniology, their main basis was not initially subscription boxes. You know, I don't think that Orly and Maniology primarily make their money off of the subscription boxes. I think that's just another avenue in the market for them. I have made individual purchases from Orly and Maniology's website, as well as subscribe to them, and I feel comfortable doing both because I know I'm not going to get any replication, and I like the brands as they stand alone, and I like their subscription service. Whereas with, you know, Square Q and Julep, the only thing I knew about them from the get-go was their subscription service, and that was the thing that was always pushed. And so when their subscription services went under, I had no desire to try out their individual polishes because all I knew them for was the subscription. And just in that same vein of feeling frivolous, I think especially in the past 5 to 10 years, we've just seen so many people and so many shows and so many books and so much media focused on kind of revamping your life, decluttering your life. Declutter is a huge like buzzword that I hear all the time now. I think a pretty good example of this would be Marie Kondo. You know, she came into our lives and she was like, does this spark joy? And even if you've never seen a Marie Kondo show, even if you've never read her book, you probably know the phrase, does it spark joy? Because it's become a common phrase in the English vernacular. You know, you look at something, you go, does it spark joy? No, throw it away. And I think that a lot of people, even if they don't subscribe to the KonMari method, as it's called, still kind of live that way to a certain extent. I find myself constantly asking myself, not with nail polish, but with other things in my life, do I really need this, or is this going to sit in my closet for the next 5 years? You know what I mean? And so I think with subscription boxes, that's a big question, is like, do I really need this? Am I going to even enjoy the stuff that comes in? Who knows? Because it's usually a mystery. So my opinion of these subscription boxes is not that they're bad. I just feel like these boxes, especially those that we talked about today that really only have one brand and one product type in them, are really only good for a couple of things, in my opinion. I think it's new customers who want to really dip their toes into the brand and try a few things out and kind of learn what they like and dislike from the brand. And brand super fans, which is like me with the Orly subscription box. You know, I love Orly. They're one of my top brands. And so I subscribe to them because I want all their collections because I'm kind of a super fan. You know what I mean? But the average consumer cannot consume this much nail polish. Even the abnormal consumer cannot consume this much nail polish. When you're getting 3 polishes a month, that is just gonna burn you out, I think, for a lot of people, for your average person. Obviously not me, because I buy like 1 trillion nail polishes a month, but you can't go through that much. And if you're subscribing to multiple at once, that's even worse, because now you've got them piling up. And I think that it puts stress on some people. They're like, oh, I haven't used this, I haven't tried that, I haven't done this one yet. And then they lose the joy of the hobby. One final thought on subscriptions, and then I will let you guys go because this has been kind of a long, all over the place video. But I will say that I do have one kind of criticism of the subscription model. And that is, while I don't want to call it predatory necessarily, I do think that it heavily relies on people forgetting that they are subscribed to the product or service so that they are constantly making the money no matter what. I know a lot of people who probably don't even remember half the stuff they're subscribed to, and they're just constantly paying for cable or Netflix or Hulu or whatever. And with a subscription box, it's a little bit more tangible because you're like, you get the box and you go, oh, I need to cancel this. But I think that a lot of people set it down and then they forget that they didn't cancel it. And then the next month they go, oh, I need to cancel this. And the cycle repeats. I keep a pretty thorough budget, so I know exactly what I'm subscribed to at any given time, and I know exactly when that money's going to deduct and things like that. I track my finances really closely, but I know that not everyone tracks them in the same kind of very specific way that I do. And so I think it's very easy to let these things fall through the cracks, and suddenly you're spending an extra $50 to $100 a month on services you're barely even enjoying. And I just would recommend you go and you check and make sure that you are utilizing everything you're subscribed to. And if you're not, just unsubscribe. So yeah, anyways, that was my not so brief overview of nail polish subscription boxes, the defunct and the modern, and just my like quick hot takes on what I think about them. Like I said, obviously I do enjoy them. They're fun for me, but you know, you got to know what you're paying for as well. Feel free to correct me on any points that I may have gotten wrong. A lot of this, like I said, I had to do individual research because I wasn't 100% on the scene when these things were happening. So I may have gotten stuff wrong, or I may have interpreted people's blogs wrong or something like that. So let me know down below what you thought of this. Let me know if you've subscribed to any of these, what your experience was. Let me know if you guys were subscribed to Bondi, because that was one I had never heard of. I didn't know any of this, so I kind of fell down a rabbit hole of trying to find as much information as possible on that. And of course, let me know if there are any subscription boxes currently that you are subscribed to that you really enjoy. Like I said, you guys know I've done Orly. I still do Orly. And I've done Maniology in the past, which it's fun. I think it's worth it to build up a stamping collection if you don't have one. But currently, Orly is the only box that I'm subscribed to. Well, that's going to be it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and my departure from my normal like swatch and review content. Let me know what you guys thought, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.